Hey guys, it's Heather from Here She Grows, and that's my Brugmansia tree, or angel's trumpet. She's not very happy right now. And typically when she looks like that, it is the perfect indicator that she's thirsty, and she gets thirsty and she pulls this move all the time. So that's what I was expecting to find, and that's not what's going on here. So I'm gonna have to do something that I wasn't planning to do. If you remember earlier in the season, I did root prune this beauty. She was fine. She was just outgrowing the container she was in. I overwinter her in my basement. I am in zone 5B. This Brugmansia is hardy from zone 7 to 10, so she does have to overwinter in my basement every year. She does start to look very droopy in the summertime when we've had really hot weather. We've had a lot of heat, a lot of sun, no rain, and so naturally she would droop. So I've been supplemental watering. I'm used to that behavior. She is quite a diva. She's also extremely poisonous, so you want to keep that in mind if you want to grow this in your garden or in a container. If you have small children or pets that like to nibble things, this is probably not the best plant to have in your garden. I don't have that issue right now, so I've grown her for a number of years in this container and just overwinter her inside. She looks really sad. I've been watering her consistently. There's no reason for her to look like that. And then I looked a little deeper and realized that she is drowning in the pot. So I think I've got a blockage in here, and the other plants aren't looking so well either. So I'm gonna flip this around and show you give you a better close-up of what she looks like. And I'm gonna have to jump in and handle this sooner than later because I don't wanna lose this tree. I've had her for years. So initially, I thought this was, she was pouting as she normally does when she's thirsty. So I've been watering her, but what I didn't do was look at the soil first. And then I noticed that as I was watering it, the water level was getting higher and higher and higher, but it was never soaking in. So it's completely saturated. And that's what happens. When a plant is overwatered, it'll wilt too because it's suffocating. There's too much water in there, so there's no oxygen for the plant, for the roots to access. So this also translates into houseplants. Overwatering and underwatering often look the same, and you'll have this wilting effect. So you really want to get down to the soil because the soil will tell you what's going on with your plant. And when I looked closer and saw that it was waterlogged and overflowing, I knew that I had a blocked drainage holes in the container. So I am going to have to take her out and unplug it and then put her back in because I don't want to lose her. But look, she was flowering. Isn't that pretty? Well, she will be prettier, but I'm going to take care of this. It wasn't something that I was planning to do. It's kind of always the way. I thought things were going really well, and then she started pulling that. So, but it's not her fault. It's the drainage holes are blocked. So, well, hey guys, I was hoping to get this on camera, but it smells so horrible back here. My husband and I, it was a two-man job to get the root ball of the Brugmansia, or the entire tree actually, out of the pot, and then it smells so rank back here because it wasn't draining. It is a self-watering container, but I have something going wrong with it. But I'm gonna let the root ball dry out. It's waterlogged. But this is the container I have, and wow, it really stinks. And I'm gonna rinse it out, and I think I'm gonna drill some holes in it and take out the self-watering thing because there's definitely an issue with that. But yeah, we'll see if that solves the problem, but I hope my Brugmansia will recover. I think once it dries out, it'll be fine. So since we're out here, I might as well show you what this root ball looks like. And if you remember when I root pruned this, there were no roots on the outside of the root ball when I replanted it into that container. And now look what's going on. I've got lots of roots. It does kind of stink bad, so I've got a little bit of root rot going on. I'm gonna let this dry out and reassess tomorrow morning after it's had a little time to dry up a little bit, but boy, does this stink. Hey guys, so it comes down to a simple issue, this little thing. I was looking deeper into my container yesterday, and it's gardener error. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my Brugmansia. It has everything to do with the pot, and I thought I had, let me get better light here. I thought I had removed the plug on the bottom of the container, and I hadn't. It's kind of deceiving actually, so not that I'm trying to blame the container, it's not the container's fault either. But on the bottom of this pot, let's see, there is a hole here. Now, I thought this was the drainage hole. It is the drainage hole, but in order for it to work, you have to remove this little thing from inside to open that hole. I never took this off. So I snapped this off yesterday, and lo and behold, I have drainage now. So I am gonna put the Brugmansia back in this pot. It's been sitting on the patio overnight, drying out because it was sopping wet, and the water that we dumped out of there was gross. It made you wanna just kind of throw up. I mean, it was nasty. So I'm going to put the plant back in there. It looks really sad. We'll see what happens, but it was totally my fault. I didn't make sure that it had proper drainage. And I don't know why it happened this year. I've had the container for a couple years now. This is the first time it's happened. But hopefully now that this is out of there, the plant will be able to drain properly and she'll be okay. We'll see. Wow, that's really soaked. Oh. Well, I got her standing up, but I am going to need, look at how pitiful she is. I'm going to need reinforcements because she's super heavy, still very waterlogged. I'm going to wait for my husband to get home this afternoon and give me a hand with this because I do not need to destroy my back. Gosh, this plant's such a diva, but it's totally my fault. All right, guys, so it's a couple days later. Let me get out a little further here. You can see what's going on. That's the Brugmansia. She's not looking much better. Matter of fact, she's looking worse. She's dropping leaves like crazy. There are a few healthy looking leaves. Let me come back here and show you. So this stem, this branch back here is like the only healthy looking one. Everything else just looks so droopy and pitiful, and I'm kind of over it. And the irony of this whole thing is that I drowned her. I mean, it's death by drowning. She's not dead. I'm probably going to cut her back. I might take a cutting of that one branch here that was looking relatively good and see if I can, I'll root her. They root pretty quick actually. But if it dies, it dies. I'm kind of over it because she is very high maintenance. She needs a lot of water, which is just funny to me because we had a ton of rain and she just drowned in it. And it's no fault of the plant. It's completely gardener error. And I guess the moral of the story is drainage, drainage, drainage. I did not make sure that this pot had good drainage. And I've had the pot for 3 years. And this is the first time it's done this. So yeah, moral of the story is drainage, good drainage. Containers need good drainage. Otherwise, they do this, they die. So she's not dead. I'm gonna cut her back and just see what happens. And if it dies, it dies. Honestly, I think I'm kind of over it because it is a lot of work. She's super heavy. I have to get her in the house every year for the winter time and look after her in the winter time. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm not so sure I want to do that anymore. And I don't know, we'll see. But I'll see what she does. But she looks really, really pitiful, as do the other things in this container. I'm surprised that the Superbina, I was really excited about that combination too. I have a Superbina in there and a Superbells that were just gonna be dynamite together. It was a color echo and it ain't looking so hot. So I'm gonna cut it back and take that cutting of this guy here and see what happens. And it's just funny, I drowned her. And for something that loves to be waterlogged and you know, loves constant waters, a heavy drinker, she wasn't having it. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it back and I'll update you later and let you know what happens, and we'll see where it goes. I have no idea what's gonna happen. So here it is, guys, completely cut down, and I think it looks even better. And you can see all the yellowing on the coconut appeal black-eyed Susan vine in here, and everything down here just looks so scraggly. So I thought, while we're talking about the underplanting of this, and it's not looking so hot right now, but the reason why I chose the plants that I chose for this underplanting was because I wanted to play off the color of the Brugmansia flower and then also kind of cover the legginess of the trunks of this tree. So I did some black-eyed Susan vine. This is coconut appeal. Black-eyed Susan, you can see some of the flowers on it still, and looking pretty yellow. Look at that leaf. Everything just looks so pitiful. And then I did a color echo between a Superbena and a Superbelle. So this is Royal Romance Superbena, and then the Tangerine Punch Superbelles. And I thought that was a really nice pairing with the Brugmansia flower. So I've got those guys together. I thought that would have looked really nice. So it's not looking so hot right now, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to cut all of this back. And the only thing that looks really nice in this container right now is my Queen Tut papyrus. She's happy, doesn't seem to be complaining at all, but she's a tough broad. So I'm going to cut all of this back, fertilize it, and we'll see what happens. I feel like this has been this long drawn out saga of what's going to happen to my Brugmansia tree over here. And I am happy to report that she is fleshing out some new growth. I'll give you a close up of that in a minute. But just in case she didn't, and I know earlier in the video I said I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I was going to even bother with this anymore. And but the fact of the matter is I would miss it if I didn't have it. I do love this plant. So because of that, I did take cuttings. I took cuttings from the bits of the tree that seemed to be like they were doing okay. So I did cut those off. But check out, look at those roots. So all I did was, and you can do this with any Brugmansia, that if you want to make more Brugmansias, they root very easily. You don't need any rooting hormones. So you just take your cutting with a clean pruner, and then I remove the leaves from this part here. You can see all these little leaf nodes in here. So take those leaves off, just leave a few on the top, and then look at the roots that happen. So it's I started seeing roots within about 3 days of doing this, so that's how fast they set root. And then I just pop them in. This is one of my bulb vases that I force bulbs in, but it makes for a good cutting jar too. So change the water. Technically you should do it every day. I'm lucky if I remember that, so I probably am changing the water every 2 or 3 days, maybe every 3 days, but you can tell it needs a change. But that was my insurance policy in case the big girl didn't make it, and she has made it. So, and it's not exactly the vision that I had for it. Obviously, I didn't anticipate this happening, but it just goes to show the importance of good drainage. The Superbelles and the Superbena and the Thumbergia or Black-eyed Susan vine definitely didn't live up to what my expectations were, but it's all my fault. So I'll give you a close-up, show you what it looks like and everything, how it's coming back. And thanks for watching, guys. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope this inspires you to maybe try a few tropicals in your garden. Just remember, drainage, drainage, drainage. All right, guys, have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.